Well, Breakdown, well, it wasn't called Breakdown originally, it was called Michael Landy's Lifestyle. And it was an idea, after I did Scrapheap Services, I remember, I had my own place to live, I had my own furniture, I had some money in my bank account, and then I sort of thought about how am I going to screw all this up? Like how, I've got this fund, what does this all mean? That I can now buy suits for £1,000, and I started to think about that, and then it just came to me that I wanted to destroy all my personal belongings. And then 3 years later, I ended up with Breakdown on Oxford Street. It was like a Scalextric set, and so it took like 10 minutes for one item to move around the whole circuit. And I split all my belongings into like 10 categories: artwork, furniture, electrical. MV was for motor vehicle. I can't remember the others, but basically, we made a whole audit of my whole, all my possessions basically, which took about a year to do. Within no time at all, you just kind of, it became the norm actually, and I'd get on the tube, then walk down Oxford Street and look at all the new VCRs and DVD players, and then go in and destroy my own personal belongings. So it became a job in a way. And then every now and again, you'd pick up something from the conveyor belt, and I think, oh yeah, and put it back down again. So I'm asking an idea about consumption, and obviously it will have ramifications for the rest of my life in some respects. I've got rid of my artist's archive, so some things can never be replaced. And they are probably the hardest things to get rid of, but that's why they probably stay on conveyor belt much longer than the others. The others, they get a longer kind of life sentence than the others. To finance the exhibition, I'd agreed to sell some of the shredded and granulated things, but during the exhibition I decided that it was like I didn't want to turn up at somebody's house in years later and see a shredded passport in some Perspex box somewhere. So I decided to get rid of everything. So which meant actually I didn't end with nothing, I ended up with debts actually. That was the ironic thing. And so ultimately everything in the end went to landfill. Yeah, I call it Landyfill now.
What did it feel like afterwards?
I was actually a huge rush, actually. I had a huge, I was on cloud 9, I think. So, but obviously I'd set myself, I'd really dug myself a deep hole about what I could do next, because obviously I'd negated everything was like, and it took a long time, because I just wasn't interested in making artworks. I didn't see the point in it, and it took about a year before I started to make work again. So I guess I try and dig myself a big hole every time I make work, and then try and get myself out of it. But this time was because I guess I destroyed artworks as well. So I didn't. There was no anticlimax to it at all. It was. I knew during the time that I'd probably been known as that bloke. They probably wouldn't even remember that bloke who destroyed all his belongings. And I knew that every time anybody ever mentions my work, that's the first thing they're going to mention. But I didn't mind that. So, and I still don't mind people mentioning it to me every now. I still bump into people and they'll talk about it. So, yeah.